Hello, good evening. Welcome to the call. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your business to get on with us. And this is one of the really important parts of your business, which is making the time and the space each week to get on live whenever you can, and if not, to listen to the recording. So thank you for doing that and for making this an important part of your business. So this is the empowerment call for the three regions of the Pfeiffer region, the Erminsky region, and the Tomlinson region. And we have an amazing trainer who's going to train with you tonight, Stephanie Merten, and she is... Oh, are you guys getting feedback? Okay, hold on. I'm going to get everybody.
I'll share it first.
All right, technology is amazing with the stuff we can do. So Stephanie Merten is an amazing mom, an amazing wife, a very, very talented musician, and she is just a woman of quality and professionalism, and she is somebody who is going to do what she's going to do with quality and commitment. So Stephanie, are you on? Oh, there you are. Oh my gosh, your hair is so blonde. It's gorgeous. Just like you. So Stephanie, I am going to hand it over to you, and I will let me know if you have any trouble getting unmuted and let you go.
I think I'm unmuted, yeah? Okay, so I'll share the screen. And then, so you guys can all see the screen, right? Just to make sure my first time doing it. Okay.
Yep, it's great, Stephanie. Thank you.
So tonight I'm training on the 5-second rule, and I'm going to use quotes from Mel Robbins herself within the presentation, and photos and little memes I found online, and also thanks to Paul Miners for his guide that I'll be also using to help summarize this book. So this is the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins: transform your life, work, and confidence with everyday courage. So in this book, Robbins shares a simple but amazing tool that will help you in many aspects of your life. This 5-second rule can help you in the everyday difficult moments. It's a metacognitive tool to trick the brain. Robbins helps us to see how we can break habits and build momentum to take control and make change in our own lives. Now, throughout the book, and when she speaks about the book and everything, she basically repeats things over and over and over again. And at first I was like, I'm not sure why she's saying that. She said it already. But it's something that needs to happen, I found, once you get to the end, because the more you hear it, the more you start to believe it, the more you start to remember it. So it's really a neat thing she does. So I will be repetitive a little bit as well and trying to summarize this book.
Just those
so she's
getting on the call.
5 seconds to change your life. The ways you could use the 5-second rule are to help push yourself, become more influential in work and other places, be more productive, to step outside your comfort zone, like doing a training that's getting recorded, self-monitor and control emotions, and then to help you manage, engage, motivate, encourage team members like we do in Arbonne at all times. Every single day we face moments that are difficult, uncertain, and scary. Your life requires courage just to be alive in this world today. And that's exactly what the rule will help you to discover: the courage to become your greatest self. Some days that can just be as simple as just trying to get out of bed in the morning, which was something that I really liked that she spoke about a lot, was the everyday courage. It's not like, going to be the first man on the moon. It's just, can you get out of bed? Can you do what you need to do every day? Because sometimes those can be the most challenging. When it comes to goals and changing your life, you have your own inner wisdom. Your goal-related instincts are there to guide you. You need to learn to rely on them, because as history proves, you'll never know when your greatest inspiration will strike and where that discovery will lead you if you trust yourself enough to act on it. She used several references to major historical figures like Rosa Parks. Mel Robbins said that she listened to the recording of the actual interview with Rosa Parks after that day on the bus, and they said, well, you took that bus for years. What prompted you to change that day, to not give up your seat? And she said, I was just tired and I simply didn't want to get up. She didn't think about it. She didn't think about her feelings. She just acted on her impulse, and she didn't get up and changed history. Same with Martin Luther King, who after this was encouraged to lead the group of people that started the whole movement, and he didn't think about it. He just did it. And then there's thousands of people that write into Mel Robbins, it sounds like all of the time, that talk about how this just simple action, just call to action and not thinking, just changes so many lives. So what is the 5-second rule? This is a quote from Mel Robbins. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move, or your brain will stop you. In the book, she did say there are some people that have to move on 3. So there's a little wiggle room there as far as what the countdown would be. But for most, it's 5 through 1. So for example, if you feel really tired, but you were going to go to the gym, instead of saying, do I feel like going? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you head out the door, you push yourself to go to the gym. You don't give yourself time for excuses to focus on your feelings. You just act. When you count backwards, you mentally shift gears in your mind. You interrupt your default thinking and do what psychologists call assert control. The counting distracts you from your excuses and focuses your mind on moving in a new direction. When you physically move instead of stopping to think, your physiology changes and your mind falls in line with that. The rule is a starting ritual in the language of habit research, and it activates the prefrontal cortex, helping you to change your behavior. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that you use when you focus, change, or take deliberate actions. This is how it all started in the beginning with Mel Robbins. She wasn't able to get out of bed. She started drinking. Her marriage was falling apart. And she one day had seen a rocket launch the night before and the countdown. And that next morning, she thought of the rocket launch. And when the alarm went off, instead of hitting snooze, she just said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she just got out of bed. She couldn't believe it worked. And then she did it the next day and the next day. And slowly she started to apply it to everything that she just didn't feel like doing. And she changed her life, and look where she is today. So things you need to do that this rule helps you. Take action. You push yourself to take simple actions, which creates a chain reaction in your confidence and productivity. By pushing yourself to take these simple steps, you move your life forward and you create momentum and experience a sense of freedom and power in doing so. The more you do, the more you feel better about doing and then continue to do it. And as far as motivation, she says it's just a myth. She says that in order to feel, people think, in order to feel like you're going to do it, you have to feel eager or you feel motivated to act on something. And she said, the moment it's time to assert yourself, you absolutely will not feel motivated. And I love how she's always like, you don't want to get off your butt. She's very like down to earth. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just simple. You're not going to feel like doing it. So if you want to improve your life, you have to get off your rear end and get off your butt, as she would say. So one of the reasons why the 5-second rule is so empowering is because it turns you into a kind of person who operates with a bias towards action. If you tend to overthink every move, you'll discover energy and confidence to stop thinking and actually move. Using the rule strengthens your belief that you do have the ability to control your own fate because you are proving it to yourself one push at a time. So as you repeat this, you build that confidence. The rule doesn't make it easy, though, she says. It just makes it happen. That's why it's just a tool that you can use. And through repetition and use again, it will help it happen more easily as time goes on. And it's not the small moves that define our lives. It's not the big moves that define our lives. It's the small moves. Within 5 seconds, you can stop yourself from thinking and just decide and just take action. Or you can go past the 5 seconds and think, and you can decide not to take action on those small things. She said, what if Rosa Parks thought, I could get in trouble. I should give up my seat. History would take a different turn. So, but over time, small decisions like getting out of bed in the morning, going to the gym, waking up earlier than usual, whatever it might be in your life, asking that prospect, sharing the opportunity with them in Arbonne, and they're your next ENVP. Over time, the small decisions build, and we've repeated this pattern of hesitating, worrying, and doubting ourselves so much that these actions of the small little things that we don't do have become encoded in our brains, and they become habits. Now, the thing about, she said, is that habits can be broken. It does take work, but they can be broken. So there's a simple proven way to break or replace bad habits. And the 5-second rule is the easiest way to do it, according to Mel Robbins, and I believe it. So how can you use the rule? You can use it to change behavior, create new behavior, push yourself to create new habits, pull yourself away from destructive habits. She's talked about people who had drug addictions, who use the rule and to get to who've had gone through rehab, gotten on the right path, and then almost been pulled back, but using the rule not to get sucked in. She talks about, like she said, people with depression, not getting out of bed, not being able to take that next step. And they use the rule to get out of these destructive habits. Or binge watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever it might be when you shouldn't watch that 4th episode, but you do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shut off the TV. And then you can master the skills of self-monitoring and self-control. You can also act with everyday courage, not like we said, taking the next step on the moon, but just every day. The rule will quiet your self-doubt and build confidence as you push yourself to pursue your passions. You can use it to control your mind, stop the barrage of negative thoughts and endless worries that can weigh you down. You can also break the habit of anxiety and beat any fear that you could have. The power of courage. Everyday life is full of moments that require courage. Courage is precisely what the 5-second rule gives you. And on this slide, it says, knowing what you need to do to improve your life takes wisdom. Pushing yourself to do it takes courage. So why wait, she says. Don't convince yourself now is not the time, because it will never be the time. When you make excuses and talk yourself into waiting, you are limiting your ability to make your dreams come true. When you push yourself, you discover the powers inside of you. We like to think that we use logic when we make decisions, but that's not the case. According to the neuroscientist Antonio Damasio, it's our feelings that decide for us 95% of the time. You feel before you think, you feel before you act, and that's how you ultimately make decisions. The rule makes you act and not feel. So you must learn to separate what you feel from the actions that you take. If you don't feel like attacking the to-do list on your desk, you won't. But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and you can force yourself to start working on it. You can't control how you feel, but you can control how you act. That was in the book. I think I remember her saying it at GTC. I really like it, so I'm just going to say it one more time. You can't control how you feel, but you can control how you act. And that's really important for me, I know personally, in all aspects of my life. As a teacher, as a musician, just as a person in the community with Arbonne, working with other people, it's just so important, controlling how you act. So she says, how do you start? The fastest way to implement this 5-second rule, if you've never tried it, is to start by doing this simple wake-up challenge. You set your alarm clock for 30 minutes earlier tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, Thursday, and you jumpstart the use of the rule. You just set that alarm, and the moment your alarm rings, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you push yourself out of bed. You just get up. Now, you could lay there and say, I don't feel like getting up. I was out late last night. I did that Arbonne training, and I didn't get my whatever it was done. But she said, if you don't get up, it's you who decided to fail. See, the beauty of this, how simple, is that there's no wiggle room. It's just an action. You just do it. And if you can't get out of it. And if you fail, it's really your own decision to blow off the rule. So there's no one else to blame, which I like. I need that accountability sometimes. So she says, if you can change your morning routine, you can basically change anything. And there's a chemist, what chemists call the activation energy, and that applies to this, where the minimum amount of energy needed to begin a chemical reaction is activation energy. So the energy needed to start is much higher than the amount of energy needed to keep a reaction going. You feel the resistance and learn what it is to push the resistance by doing this wake-up challenge. But it also demonstrates that you have this inner strength to do what you need to get done. And I like that, because if you think about it, she used the example of when you were a kid and on the couch watching TV, and the parent says, shut off the TV, go outside and play. It's much harder to shut the TV off and actually get up and do it. Then once you're outside playing, you're having a great time. That's like me with practicing violin when I was younger. Just opening the case was the hardest part, but once it was out, practicing was great. So what I ended up doing, just as a side note, is I just always left the case open in the music room. It made it much easier to get going, less activation energy needed. Oh, and she also says, I almost forgot, it won't feel good after the first morning. You're not going to feel like, yay, I'm up 30 minutes earlier. But if you keep doing it, it can change your mindset, and you just get in that ritual of doing it, and you see how it can change your mindset and your outlook on everything. And she says, if you do this wake up challenge, she wants to know how you're doing by putting hashtag 5-second rule. on your post, wherever it may be. So courage changes behavior. She says there's the top 3 things that people write into her all of the time, and it's health, productivity, and procrastination. So obviously the 5-second rule can help in all of these areas. For health, thinking about health won't make you healthier. So you have to actually do something to get healthier. We all know maybe eating fewer calories, eating certain foods, and exercising will make you healthier. But it's doing it. You can't think about, oh, do I want to eat that food? Do I feel like eating that food? Just like she said, meditation will make you healthier, but it's an actual action that you have to do. So it won't be easy. Changing any kind of habit is not easy. But if you realize that the secret to getting healthy is simple, you just have to follow the rule. You'll never feel like it, but it's simple in what you have to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you do it. My favorite example was she said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, put down the donut and eat the chicken breast. That was my favorite. I'm really going to think of that like all of the time. So feelings don't matter. You just need to do what you need to do. And that's what's so great about this rule is it really bypasses the feelings. So you don't have time to think. Productivity. The main thing is focus. So what this rule can do is help you hone your focus. So the ability to manage directions so that you can focus on moment-to-moment tasks at hand. So you're managing distractions. That's number 1. You have to learn first what your goals are and what's important. What's the most important thing you're focusing on? Are the push notifications coming up on your smartphone? Are those important? No, you have to get rid of your, just maybe they are, but in this case, no. Get rid of them. You just have to remove them. It's that simple. And then when you understand what the distractions are and you can remove them from your path, you're able to focus on the moment-to-moment things that really matter. And then she says, you'll have no idea how much that will actually help. And then number 2, the skill of focusing on what's truly important to you in the big picture is what you can focus on so you don't waste your time on little things that don't matter. And I was saying in Arbonne, it's your why. You have your why always, and we always start with our why because that's our big important thing, and that's our focus. And then everything else sort of falls in line from that for Arbonne. So she was also saying though that the mornings, taking control of the mornings with the wake up habit, and it will affect and change and help your productivity. If you create a morning routine that you stick to and you customize it to your needs, if it's doing exercise in the morning, planning your day in the morning, whatever it might be, but you stick to the routine and it really can increase your productivity. And then the last one is procrastination. Now there's 2 types. There's productive procrastination and destructive. But productive is for like a creative process where research actually shows that it's better to let your mind wander and kind of go off wherever it may. But she's not talking about that. She's talking about destructive procrastination. And that usually is used as a coping mechanism. It used to be thought of as a, lack of willpower or laziness or poor management skills or other negative things, but they're saying now it's not. It's actually just a coping mechanism for stress. And in many cases, it's become a habit. It's habitual. So if procrastinating is a habit, you have to replace the bad behavior pattern with a new positive one. So the bad behavior would be the avoidance of it, and the good positive behavior would be getting started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. The moment you feel yourself hesitate doing an easier task or avoiding the task altogether, you use the rule and you go and you start the important thing that you really need to do. Procrastination also makes you feel like you have no control over yourself. When you assert yourself and just get started, you can take control of your moment and your life. So stop worrying too will help in a big way. That's easier said than done, right? But more than any other change, ending your habit of worrying will create the single biggest positive impact in your life. Believe it or not, she says we're taught to worry as a kid. Now, I know in Arbonne, we always say how we think about Arbonne a lot, but we don't do Arbonne as much. That's what it makes me think of. Like, I worry, oh, am I going to ask how many, or am I going to get this or that? And with Arbonne, but if I'm just thinking about it, it's probably not going to get any better unless I do. So as adults, she says, we spend too much time worrying about things, and energy is wasted on just worrying about things we can't control or things that could go wrong if we ask the question. The one example of how the musician, now I kind of forgot that one, but the daughter was going to audition. She was very talented. Her teacher told her, you should audition for this musical, this show. And then she was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it. And when they got down to it, she was just afraid that she might not be good enough. And so she almost didn't audition. In the end, I think she did. But she almost just didn't do it worrying about what the outcome may be instead of just going and doing it. So when your mind takes you somewhere sad, negative, doubtful, you don't have to go with it. Just start by asking yourself, what am I grateful for in this moment? What do I want to remember? And so you focus on the positive aspects of your life. And this will impact your brain at a biological level. It forces you to focus on the positive. And then as soon as you think about what you're grateful for, you start to feel grateful instead of worried. Now this slide I really like. This one hit home with me. The end of anxiety and redirect it into anxious energy. That's a really personal thing, especially as a musician. So anxiety is what happens when your worrying habit gets out of control. The key to beating anxiety is understanding it. If you can catch it right as it kicks in and reframe it, the reframing I think is vital, you'll stabilize your thoughts before your mind escalates into a full-blown panic. And over time, as you use the 5-second rule over and over and over again, your anxiety will weaken and become what it started out as, simply just worries. And as you learned, the habit of worry is easy to break. So when you feel anxious, you're in a state of physical agitation. If you use the 5-second rule to assert control over your mind and then reframe the anxiety into excitement, then your brain doesn't escalate into some panic and your body can calm down. So this photo I put on here is from the Encyclopedia Britannica from online. This is the Metropolitan Opera House as seen from the stage view. Many, many people, very big place. I've only ever been in the audience there. But when you're out there, if you're going out and then you feel anxiety, you feel panic, you could maybe not sing. You could maybe get stage fright and freeze up. But if you can reframe that into an anxious energy, then you're excited to perform. And then you give the best performance of your life. And again, hitting home with me, because as a musician, you have to face the fear. So reframing it is the best way to put it. Now, when you're reframing it, it doesn't mean that you're going to feel calm all of a sudden, but you're going to feel excited, but you're going to still feel those feelings inside your body. So it just gives your mind an explanation to understand what those feelings are, and then that empowers you by understanding it. That way, the nervous feelings don't escalate, but eventually over time, they will calm down because you can stay in control of them. It's just learning to work with them in a different way. Mel Robbins gave that great example when she said, before she comes out on stage, that her mouth gets dry and her hands get sweaty or whatever it was. And, public speaking, she really didn't like doing it, but now she reframes it as just excited to come out here and talk to 15,000 people or 22,000 with the virtual audience. Okay, so a big mistake people make is thinking that confidence is a matter of personality. Confidence just means that you believe in yourself, your ideas, and your capabilities. Anyone can learn how to become more confident because it's just a skill. It's not a personality trait. And oftentimes, again, relating it to Arbonne, I was thinking, you talk to people and they say, well, I don't like talking in front of people, or I'm not really confident. I don't feel like I know enough about the products, or whatever it might be. But it's just a skill. So they might not be good at it now, but as we do our trainings and we do all this and we work together and learn from each other and hear from these amazing speakers and books, we just hone our skills more in whatever area we might feel deficient or weaker. So anyone can do it. That's what's great. So confidence is built through acts of everyday courage. Confidence is created by small things that you do every single day, and you build this trust within yourself. And really, the small things are not small at all. They're the most important things of all, and they add up. Pushing yourself, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the small things gives you confidence to do the big scheme things that you really, really want to do. It will start as just an instinct. If you're unsure about or anxious about Arbonne, using it to share the opportunity or whatever it might be, use the rule to push yourself to do it. That's when momentum kicks in. Now, obviously in the book, she didn't say about Arbonne, but I keep applying it to us. So the small opportunities will lead to those bigger moments. So to summarize, remember the 3 reasons why the simple idea of the 5-second countdown can work for you. 1, through little acts of courage, the 5-second rule makes you feel less afraid over time. 2, there are 3 reasons the right time will never come, so you just have to start. And 3, the 5-second rule helps to override your feelings, a tactic which is called psychological intervention. Now, I do have a confession. I have not done the Wake Up Challenge. I've done other 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but after this, I feel like I have to. So tomorrow morning, I'm doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 5:30 a.m. I am getting up. But that's all I have. Thank you very much.
I like that you said that's all I have. You just like rocked our world in the best possible way. Stephanie, it was amazing. Honestly, I think that was, you gave us so many practical tips and you shared from your heart, and that was so polished and fabulous. So I'm so thankful that you took the time to prepare this, and I can't wait to hear more trainings from you. And I think that everyone should hop on our the region Facebook page. Tell us if you're going to take the morning challenge, right? So we can hold each other accountable, and share if there is anything like Stephanie shared where you need help finding a hack for your activation energy, whether it's picking up the phone to call for bookings, or hostess coaching, or any of those things, getting your 100-person list done. Share, because I bet there are other people who have a hack for you that they've already discovered. So I'm going to stop talking because I know there's probably a few other people who want to just share a tiny bit what they've learned tonight.
Steph, I loved it. You did such a fabulous job. Sorry.
No, Stephanie, I just want to say, make sure you read the comments.
I love how you, I'm sorry. I love how you connected everything to Arbonne. It was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
I just want to say great job, Stephanie. For somebody who said they were nervous, you didn't seem like it. You were such a natural. I just want to make sure you took a second before Nair closed this out to just read the comments. I think when you first do your training, it's really nice to be able to see how much of an impact you made. You did a fabulous job, so thank you. This book is amazing.
All right, guys, I am going to wrap it up because it's always vital that we get onto the live Arbonne Discovers on Wednesday night. But the fabulous Marie Tomlinson and her husband, Andrew Tomlinson, will be sharing over there tonight. It is Facebook, Discover Arbonne Live. If you are not in the group, please let your region or area know. Let anybody know. Text us, call us. We want you to be in that group. So I'm going to just stop the recording.